Data is the nervous system of the organization. It connects everything. People, AI, technology, culture, it's all built around data. So if something is a hot mess, then that means the entire body of the organization is misfiring. The reason I love this comment, because the older and messier the data is, the more valuable it actually can be to the organization. This is historical insights to strategies that you cannot recreate. It is actually going to build stronger and more resilient AI models. This is the most valuable piece that I call contextual intelligence, because that's going to give us an insight into then versus now. What changed? What stayed broken? What are some assumptions that were made that we can correct? So that said, how do you clean your data and get to a point where you can actually use it as a competitive advantage? First, you have to do the boring stuff that you should do as an internal organization, not a data vendor selling you something. You need to get your own house in order, establish organizational roles around who owns the data. So these are things like business process owners that kind of define what good data looks like, data stewards that maintain the governance and the integrity around certain data systems, data owners that control access, architects, analysts, BI developers, all of those different things need to be defined. And I always like to use an example around the Terminator, because quite literally the Terminator effect is what I talk about at Women in Tech conferences, specifically on that circuit. It has come to my attention that I'm super old and people don't understand the Terminator anyway. So this example might be relevant, but I think it gives us the idea of why we need to look at those data specific strategies. So Skynet, the Terminator organization, or the Central Intelligence, was trying to find Sarah Connor because she was going to give birth to the person that ruined the Terminator takeover. Skynet had a lot of data, however, it was not good organized currency that they could use to make good business decisions, like find the right Sarah Connor. We had a lot of duplicate Sarah Connors that were not managed well, so they would have known things like the age of Sarah Connor, the last known address. If that data wasn't duplicated, they would have been able to find the right person faster. They acted on the wrong metrics because they went to find people that weren't actually the person they were looking for. Ultimately, they did not achieve their goal because of this bad data, and John Connor was born, who ultimately stopped the Terminator revolution. So a lot of companies I talk to are completely overwhelmed by data cleansing exercises because they're not that sexy, right? They're not as fun as implementing AI, but what they don't realize is you can actually utilize AI to help you clean your data. Something like auto-completion and inference is a huge area. AI models can predict missing fields based on certain context. This is especially helpful when filling in structured fields like industry, state, product category, all of those different things. It can help with standardization. It can map inconsistent entries, like I'm in the state of Colorado, actually I'm in Montana right now, but I live in the state of Colorado. So it could do something like CO, Colorado Springs, COLO, make those all one standard data entry type. And where I really like to use AI specifically on this is enrichment and external data sources, especially if we don't know where our data is housed. These are things like scraping public data from sources, query APIs, or use of LLMs to generate missing descriptions, all of those types of different things. We just have to watch those false confidences, because that's where they might fill in these descriptions with incorrect values, and then our data doesn't become valuable to us anymore. And those data stewards are in charge of making sure all of that stays within the governance. The last thing I'll say is it is the ultimate power move to be a data owner, a business process owner, because that is incredibly valuable and huge job security. You want to be the most powerful and influential person in the organization, be the one who understands and protects the data. So if you're embarking on some sort of technology transformational journey, just remember that the messier, the more dumpster fire your data is, reframe that to say the more potential it has in there. It's like a treasure hunt, and it's awesome. And it's going to be so fun.